Hello guys and gals and welcome! So you may have seen the video where we were able to finally get a Harlequin Crest Shaco. Well, the Harlequin Crest Shaco comes specifically from a certain place. It doesn't just come from nowhere. It comes from Duriel. Duriel is the boss that you can farm for a increased drop chance at Uber Uniques. Now, we farmed him 8 times that particular time we went. We had 4 people in the group, which was a total of 32 drop sets, you know, one for each person, 8 times, which was a pretty large number of drops. And we only got one Uber Unique item the entire time, and that went to Leon Arc, who's in the group right now. And for some reason, the Shaco looks red. We don't know exactly why the Shaco looks red. It's a little strange. It should be green, shouldn't it? But anyway, what I wanted to go over with you today is how do you get a Duriel? What are the details? What do you farm? What do you need? Where do you go? Etc. And let's go over everything right now. Now, there are 2 monsters that are involved in dealing with Duriel. If you want to get access to Duriel, you have to farm 2 monsters. One of them is Varshan. If you go to the Tree of Whispers, you will find a little pedestal, kind of like a little hole in the ground next to the tree. And it doesn't take very much. You go in there, and it's a very small area, not a whole lot of monsters. You could actually just kind of run by them if you want to. You don't even have to fight them. But it's right here next to the tree. And you're going to go into the Malignant Burrow. And you go down into the Malignant Burrow, and you will find an altar, essentially, that allows you to sacrifice certain pieces. The altar that for Varshan is going to require gurgling heads, and I'm going to show you these in just a second here. I wanted to show you how short this is. There's really like a couple monsters in here. It's not even really that big of a deal. And you come down here to the Malignant altar. You're going to see that you're going to need gurgling heads. You're going to need Blackened Femurs, Trembling Hands, and Malignant Hearts. These come from various places throughout the game, and I'm going to go over where some of these come from right now. So first off, let me hop out of this group so I don't mess with them. And of course, it's going to boot me out. One of the ways that you can get access to these items is the Whispering Caches. So by doing the Whispering Tree events and obtaining the Whispering Caches, you can obtain these things. So right now I have a couple Whispering Caches right here. I've got quite a few of them, actually. Let's go ahead and open them up right now. I also have a Wandering Death Spoils. There we go. So these are the Whispering Caches, and as you can see, with this particular one, I got 1 gurgling head. So 1 gurgling head, not too terrible. Let's go ahead and pick up the rest of this crap. Let's open up the next one. This one I managed to get a Blackened Femur and a Trembling Hand, so not bad. So we got a little bit better that time. We got 2. The collection of amulets. I got a Trembling Hand and a Gurgling Head. Not bad. And you're going to need, obviously, one of every single one to spawn Varshan. Now, when you spawn Varshan and you kill him, I did manage to get a Malignant Heart that time. That's nice. When you spawn Varshan and you kill him, you are going to get a Mucus Slick Egg, and that's going to be what you need to spawn Duriel. The Mucus Slick Egg is only going to give you, only going to get 1 per Varshan kill, and only the person who actually spawned Varshan is going to get that egg. So do keep that in mind. So this time I got a Blackened Femur and a Malignant Heart. Not bad. And you can keep harvesting as many of these as you possibly can. I've got a whole bunch of them. Saved them up just for this video. There we go. We got a Trembling Hand and another Blackened Femur. Not bad. Now there are more ways to get access to these. This is my world boss. I wanted to see if the world boss one would drop me a thing. I didn't think that it would. If you want to get access to these in other ways, there actually are some other ways that we found out that you can get access to these. So besides the Whispering Cache, you also can get access to any of the items, the Blackened Femur, the Gurgling Head, the Malignant Hearts, and the Trembling Hands. Can also come randomly from world bosses, randomly around the world. So as you're running around, say, in a Blood Harvest, you may see a monster on the map that has a very similar icon to the icon that the Malignant Heart has. So when you look at the Malignant Heart, you notice it's kind of like a, you know, it's got like the black, and then it's got the little things, and it's actually a malignant kind of symbol that appears on the map. And if you kill that monster, they have a chance of dropping one of the items. On top of this, you can also get them at the end of world bosses. We have noticed that at the end of the world boss, when you kill the world boss, between 1 to 4 of these will drop from a random monster that spawns after the world boss is dead. So you have to hang around for a little while after the world boss dies, and then a random monster that usually says something like a son of the smith, or like a rancid debtor or something like that, will pop up. You kill that monster, and you can get anywhere between 1 to 4 of the summoning pieces from that monster. Legion events also can give 1 to 4 pieces at the end of the Legion event. After everything is over, after the chests have spawned and all the loot has dropped on the ground, if you wait about like 10 seconds, another monster spawns, and that monster can drop anywhere between 1 to 4. I've also noticed that completing a Whisper event can also sometimes spawn one of these monsters. So if you're out in the wild and you're doing a Whisper event and you have just completed a Whisper event, sometimes look around, because it seems like completing the Whisper event actually causes the monster to spawn. Now, once you have all of these, of course, you're going to go down in here and you're actually going to spawn Varshan. Big note is that Varshan is very, very heavy in the shadow damage department, so make sure that you have a large amount of shadow resistance. The fight isn't particularly difficult, and if you did it last season, in Season 1, you already know. It's not even really that hard. And if you out-level Varshan, you're probably going to just rip him to shreds and not even really care. Now, he drops the Mucus Slick Egg. The other piece that you need to farm Duriel comes from Grigorie. Now, Grigorie is a living knight. He's kind of like a metal knight of steel. And Grigorie's spawn is right here. It's called the Hall of the Penitent. To spawn him, you need something called Living Steel. Now, Living Steel is only obtainable in one place as far as we are aware, and that is from the HellTides themselves. So when you're doing the HellTides, if you've done a HellTide before, you'll be aware that there are specific chests, like the Mystery Chest, which costs 250 cinders, and you have to open to get some pretty decent loot. Well, the thing is that they added a new chest. It's called the Tortured Cache or something like that, and the Tortured Cache costs 300 cinders, and it is guarded by a kind of like a big monster called He Who Grins or something along those lines. He Who Grins and Waits. And when you go to the chest, he kind of knocks you away from the chest. You have to kill the guardian of the chest before you're able to get access to it, and he will drop you anywhere between 3 to 5 living steels, although it seems much more common that you get 3. I've opened up a ton of them, and I've only seen 3, although we've had a couple people that have opened them, and they end up with like a stack of 3, and then like another one drops in addition to the third. So then you add them together, you get 4. But it seems to be mainly just 3. So if you do the Living Steel quest, or the Living Steel chest, every single time that the HellTide pops up, you can potentially get, for most of the HellTides, 4 Living Steel chests per HellTide, with an average of 3 Living Steels per chest, so 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is potentially 2 spawns of Grigorie. If you happen to be lucky and you get a really nice spawn in Kyrgyzstan, you can potentially get a 3rd chest, which means you can get 6 total for the hour, because it does actually spawn 3 in Kyrgyzstan as opposed to the 2 in all the other areas. Once you get your Living Steel, you're going to come here. This is the Chamber of Penitence, which is in, what is this, Dry Steps? Yeah, it's Dry Steps. And it is right here, the Hall of the Penitence. I believe the closest waypoint is actually Alzuda. Or you could take Kedbardu. They're both about the same distance anyway. It takes 5 living steel per spawn of Grigorie. He is highly lightning damage. In fact, the entire fight is lightning damage based. So make sure that you've got 70% lightning resistance when you come in here. It will make a huge difference. Bring a lightning elixir. Same thing for Varshan. Bring a shadow resistance elixir, and you can start farming the eggs. Now, when you kill Varshan, he drops a Mucus Lick egg. When you kill Grigorie, he drops a Shard of Agony. You need the Shard of Agony and the Mucus Lick egg to fight Duriel. So how do you get to Duriel? Let's go to Duriel real quick. So Duriel is down here. It's in the Gaping Crevasse, and you can take a Gia Cool to get there. Duriel is level 100. He's not like ridiculously difficult to fight. We fought him kind of a little bit under-leveled and under-geared. He is level 100, so like I was like level 92 when we fought him, or 93 or whatever. Wasn't the most difficult fight in the world, but farming the materials to get to him seems to be more difficult, honestly, than killing Duriel himself, which I'm actually kind of fine with, because it does take quite a bit of effort to get the materials to actually challenge him. So it's not like you can just go there and farm him over and over and over again. You actually have to farm the keys, essentially. You know, like the little bits, the organs, and the living steels and things like that. And then you have to kill those bosses, farm the eggs, which are kind of like the organs in Diablo 2. And then once you farm the organs, then you get access to Duriel himself. Now, Duriel is a pretty short area. You can pretty much just run through here. You don't have to actually kill anything. But do keep in mind that because he's level 100, all the monsters in here will also be level 100. But you can pretty much just run to the end.
I need time to do that.
And once you're in Duriel's arena, you'll see the same altar like in the others. And as you can clearly see, we have Mucus Slick Egg and the Shard of Agony. Now, you will notice that it says that acquired from the Malignant Burrow in World Tier 4, Torment, only by the one who performs the summoning. So you can only get this one time by the person who actually spent the materials. And same thing with the Shard of Agony, and it has to be in World Tier 4. You can't farm these in World Tier 3. And then once you, of course, put your Mucus Lick eggs and your Shard of Agony in here, Duriel's going to come up and he's going to try and kill you. I would recommend highly that you have some poison resistance when you fight Duriel, because he does spam some pretty horrific poison attacks. A poison elixir would help out tremendously. If you're over-leveled and over-geared, you can probably just one-shot him or something. He's difficult, but he's not impossible. He's nowhere near as difficult, say, as Echo of Lilith, for instance, which was kind of insane. Now, Duriel does drop some pretty crazy items, like he drops things like Zafal's Corroded Signet. He drops the Godslayer's Crown. He also drops the Blood Moon Breeches. If you want a full listing of what each particular monster drops, that they are available. I think I even posted them already, but you can see Grigorie's. And here is also Duriel's special drops. And then on top of that, we have Varshan's. Duriel is the one that has the special drop chances for the uber unique items, though. So keep that in mind. That's why we were able to get a Harlequin crest the other day. Zafal's Corroded Signet is on there, as you can see. There's quite a few all-class items, like Godslayer Crown, Flicker Step, Tybalt's Will, Zafal's Corroded Signet, Soul Brand, and Banished Lord's Talisman. I believe I actually found a Flicker Step from him last time, too. Of course, everybody goes into Duriel trying to find the uber uniques, but they're out of, like I said, out of 8 runs and 32 drop sets, we only saw 1 uber unique drop, so it's not necessarily guaranteed or anything. But let me show you the Flicker Step as well that I was able to get from Duriel. And where you hiding at, my boy? There he is, Flicker Step. This one's kind of interesting because it gives you ultimate cooldown reduction when you evade through monsters. I was thinking about Rogue when I saw that one. But all in all, when it comes to this particular farming sequence, it looks like you're best off doing some specific things. First off, Legion events do spawn at strongholds, so you may have to make sure that you do or complete all your strongholds. Because if you don't complete all your strongholds, then you might not have access to the Legion events, and not having access to the Legion events means you're going to miss out on the drops from the Legion events. On top of this, there is also the ability to transfer these items from one to another. Not the Living Steel. The Living Steel doesn't have a lot of options. But the ones for Varshan, you can actually go to the Alchemist. And at the Alchemist, she offers some options, which is the ability to take the Trembling Hands, the Gurgling Heads, and the Blackened Femurs. You can actually turn them into a cache. And when you turn them into a cache, you have a random chance to get other parts. And I was going to test this out on camera because I currently have 11 hands, but I only have 4 heads, right? So let's take some of the hands. Let's make 3 boxes here. And let's see what we get out of these boxes. So I got another Trembling Hand. That didn't help me out very much, did it? A Gurgling Head. And a Blackened Femur. So not only can you still get the same item back that you were trying to get rid of, it looks like, well, it's only one item, so it's not like you're going to get anything extra. The Malignant Hearts also seem to be special in that you cannot convert any of the other items into a Malignant Heart, but you can convert all the other items, or the Malignant Heart into all the other items. So you can turn the Malignant Heart into a hand, head, or femur, and you can turn the head, hand, and femur into a box to transfer them back and forth between the other forms. But you'll notice that if you read it, it says contains a Gurgling Head, Blackened Femur, or Trembling Hand, and it does not say that it contains a Malignant Heart. So the Malignant Heart seems to be the odd man out, even in the crafting recipes, and it may be the one that you might not have the most of. I'm not entirely sure. I have 10 Malignant Hearts right now, so you know that's that. Once you get everything set up, you'll know exactly how much you've got running. So, for instance, in this particular case, I currently have 12 living steel, which means I have 5 and 5, so it's 10. So I have two attempts at killing Grigorie. If I kill him 2 times, I will get 2 eggs, guaranteed. I also have 10, 5, 9, 8, right? So I have 5 attempts at Varshan. If I kill him, I will get 5 eggs, guaranteed. So 2 shards of agony and 5 eggs, which means I currently have 1 attempt at Duriel at this particular moment, because I need 2 of both to have access to Duriel. So I'm going to have to farm a lot more living steel. So this is going to be one of those things that you're going to have to pay attention to and keep up with. Whenever you see a Legion event, whenever you see a world boss, whenever the HellTide spawns, you're going to have to go farm the living steels. You're also going to have to work on things like whispering caches so that you can try and get more of the Varshan body parts. The good thing about all these is that they are tradable. So the Blackened Femurs, the Trembling Hands, the Gurgling Heads, the Malignant Hearts, and the Living Steel, as well as the Shards of Agony and the Mucus Slick Eggs, are all transferable between characters. You can trade them. You can drop them on the ground and let your friend pick them up. And the really cool thing about the Duriel kill is that everybody gets drops. So, you know, if you spend a whole lot of time farming your eggs, you don't have to worry about anybody stealing your drops. You can group up in a group of 4. In fact, it's actually kind of better if you group up in a group of 4 to do Duriel, because then everybody gets a chance at the uber unique drop, right? And of course, you also get the other really good stuff as well. Another very small detail that I almost left out is that when you kill Duriel, the items that he drops are 925 guaranteed. I actually have a whole bunch of items that I saved and I still have not gone through from the Duriel battle. I actually just shoved them in the stash because we were having so much fun killing Duriel. But you'll notice that in here I've got 925, 925, 925, 925, 925, 925, 925. These are all cap item power items that have fallen from Duriel. So even if you do not get, say, the uber unique that you're looking for, even if you do not get, you know, like the legendary or the regular unique that you're looking for, the items that fall from Duriel are all 925, and they're absolutely amazing to hang on to. You're going to want to sort through them and take a look and see if they have good stats, obviously. But especially with weapons and things like that, you're definitely going to want to see, if they're worth using. I think that covers pretty much everything when it comes to spawning Duriel, as well as all the appropriate things. Now, you may be asking another question. What about Lord Zir? And what about Beast in the Ice? We have tested both of these, and they do not drop Duriel mats. They're still worth killing. I'm not going to tell you don't kill them, because they do have some very interesting drops. If you take a look at their drop tables, Lord Zir has some pretty interesting drops, like Lidless Wall is on there, Razor Plate if you're trying to do a Thorns build, like Ashira's Can Jar, that's a pretty popular one from the Rogue, and so forth and so on. And Beast in the Ice has some pretty neat ones too, like he drops the Tassets of the Dawning Sky, which is a really powerful all-resistance pair of pants, which I'd like to get my hands on as well eventually. So I'm not saying don't farm these guys at all, but if you're looking specifically to farm Duriel, Lord Zir and Beast in the Ice do not drop the Duriel mats. And which are the mats that are used for Lord Zir and Beast in the Ice? Exquisite Blood is for Lord Zir. And the other one, which I don't have because I actually gave them to Leon, is Distilled Fear. Exquisite Blood is gotten through Legion events and world bosses, and Distilled Fear is specifically gotten through Nightmare dungeons. And although it doesn't seem to be specifically the person who spawns the sigil for the Nightmare dungeons, it seems to almost guarantee that the person who spawned the sigil will get one, but that the person who did not spawn the sigil still has a chance to get one. It's just not guaranteed. I think that's pretty much everything. If you want to check out the Duriel fight, I do have that video up, and you could also check out the live stream for a more extended version that was yesterday. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when I'm just going over how to spawn your own Duriel and get your own Uber Uniques. And as always, keep watching.